Well, as we explained this morning, despite having promised to come on the program, the Minister for Climate Change, Simon Watts, at this very moment when he would have been joining us, is somewhere that he can't tell us, at a secret location in the country. I don't know, maybe he's walking to Waitangi or swimming, but he's unavailable to us. And he's unavailable to answer at least some of the hundreds of questions that people sent to me on social media yesterday when I announced he was coming on the program, and I crowdsourced my interview saying, what would you like me to ask him? But we do not get the chance. He shut up shop. Oh, it may all have been a terrible misunderstanding, but somehow I don't think so. So to discuss the impact of our climate change announcement, our Paris Accord announcement last week, that means collectively the countries, and Mr. Watt's announcement, and what questions we do need answered, I'm joined now by Jason Herrick, who's the Southland president of Federated Farmers. Jason, thank you for filling in at such short notice.
You're welcome, Sean. It's definitely a hot topic, and, I had a wee giggle when I heard the weather announcement this morning. So, yeah.
All right. Look, I guess really why I'm so interested in this is, and this comes from the from Taxpayers Union and a chat I had with them. We don't even know the impact of us making these commitments under the Paris Agreement. Treasury don't give us a figure for the cost of complying with these targets. Do you have any idea?
Hey, look, I don't think anyone has any idea, to be honest, Sean. Climate change is climate change. Are we having as bigger impact on it as what the scientists say that we are? Science is supposed to be challengeable, right? So you should be able to challenge any science out there. So there's a whole lot of questions, and being the president of Southland Federated Farmers, I've received numerous phone calls in this last weekend about the announcement so conveniently at 5 o'clock on Friday. Around our climate targets. Now, just for a bit of clarity around it, I think we're sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place because we were signed up to the Paris Accord. And this government, coalition government's been stuck between a rock and a hard place because you've got to show on that Paris Accord agreement that you're going to increase your emissions efficiencies going forward. So yes, the previous government's targets were...
But if you're signed up to it, you can also unsign yourself up, because America's just done that.
100%. And it's going to take a wee while for America to get out of that. It's not just as easy as, from my understanding, of just saying you're pulling out of it. It takes a little while for that to actually happen. But the fact that they've done it, and all of the conversations I've had with farmers over the weekend isn't around, your four biggest players in the world aren't a part of the Paris Accord now. And they're the biggest contributors to emissions. So are we going to make that much of a difference? And, you've got to ask the question. We are one of the most efficient countries in the world when it comes to our emissions profile.
And particularly our agricultural sector, Jason. Our dairy production. What's the great story I always hear? You can put a pint of milk on a ship and send it to Dublin, and you sell it in the dairy there, and it's got a lower carbon footprint than the pint of Irish milk, right?
Yep, correct. And I actually had a wee bit of a giggle when I read a back of a label of a milk carton that was made in Sweden of one of our alternative milks, where it says that the emissions are offset by carbon forestry in New Zealand, and it was sent from Sweden to New Zealand for sale. So,
Jason, is there a feeling amongst your community, the agricultural community, and look, we're in a real bind here. The government will not give us any figures. And those are the questions I was going to ask today. Treasury won't put the cost of the Paris Agreement in our fiscal forecasts. Who is going to... And it costs money to supposedly become more carbon efficient. We don't even know if it makes what we do actually doesn't demonstrably make any difference to climate change, if there is such a thing that isn't just weather. Is there a feeling amongst the agricultural community, the farming community, that if there is a bigger price to pay, You guys will be the ones that have to do it. You'll be told that you can't farm, but you got to plant bloody Pinus radiata.
100%. And this is what it comes down to, cost, right? So, look at the dairy industry this year. We're looking at a record payout again, but costs are extremely high. In Southland, most of that extra payout has already been swallowed up by the extra feed we brought in because of the wet spring that we had, right? And whether that's climate change, who knows? To me, I think it's a bit of a seasonal thing. We've seen it here before in Southland. We'll see it again, no doubt, in the future. But it's just a cycle thing, and it comes at a huge cost. So, a lot of the conversations I've had with farmers over the weekend was, is this cost going to continue? Like, they can't continue to farm if costs keep going through the roof, and we're not seeing any of this value add that we keep getting promised from governments, now and of the past, that we're going to get for our produce. And if we actually got that value add, maybe it would be productive. But going forward, is there much sense in continuing?
Yeah. Well, there's the question I'm going to ask you. Do your members, do farmers think we should stay with the Paris Agreement, or is it time to cut our losses?
Hey, look, after the announcement from America last week, a lot of the comments were made to me that it's some of the best news and that they've heard in a wee while, and a bit of common sense is finally prevailing. But,
Well, New Zealand First are now considering dumping Paris as a policy platform that is actively under consideration by their caucus. I think most New Zealanders have the perception that National is traditionally the party of the farmer. Would you like the National Party to put this on the agenda as well, getting rid of Paris?
100% I would. And one of the biggest comments that was made to me over the weekend from people, Sean, was maybe it's time we start.